We just uploaded a full review on the Northeast gas blowback STEN, and its performance out of the box was, well, very STEN-like. Which is a nice way to say the accuracy was atrocious and the gas efficiency was, I guess, decent. But yet still, the actual handling experience was an absolute blast. Some of the funnest I've ever had with a gas blowback out of the box, so well done, Northeast. Now, when Northeast got wind of the video, they did something absolutely awesome and sent me a small package with some upgrade parts that they've been working on to make the STEN work a little bit better. Now, I want to give props where props are due. They sent this out to me with no charge. This is, I guess, sponsored. But they also, anybody who ever purchased one as well, have sent all of the upgrade parts out to them so that they can replace them in their Northeast STENs, which is honestly something really incredible that a company can do, progressively making products better and also supplying the people who already own them with those parts so they're not doomed to the early purchases that they made. Now, the Mark II, as you can see here, STEN Mark II, had 3 different variants. One dropped in 2018, one dropped in 2020, and the other one dropped in 2024. And they all had some internal upgrades like the hop-up chamber and the nozzle, which were designed to function with different power outputs and also make the STEN more accurate, more consistent, and more reliable. And for where we are today, they increased the length of the nozzle and as well made it CO2 ready, so I believe this should be able to handle the CO2 mags they also have available. And the hop-up chamber was designed to accommodate for the slightly longer loading nozzle and the wider loading bar that the new nozzle has. So what we're going to do is put these parts aside now. We'll slowly start to disassemble the STEN so you can see how things are going to work and how we'll reinstall all these parts. And then after that, we're going to go into a quick little testing video where we're going to try and see if Northeast has successfully increased the accuracy of the STEN, increased the gas efficiency of the STEN, and increased the consistency of shots in FPS with the STEN. So I'm really excited to see that. We'll pop out the barrel first, and we'll start off with the hop-up chamber. To get the hop-up chamber out of the outer barrel, we're just going to pull this grub screw out here. There's just one grub screw on the side of the outer barrel. Put that somewhere where you aren't going to lose it. Put the outer barrel aside. Here is your hop-up dial. And now we have to take apart the hop-up chamber. We're going to drop out screw number 1, screw number 2. I'm not particularly going to spend time explaining how this hop-up chamber works because I actually did that in the previous disassembly video that we did, especially when we did the whole review. So you can go ahead and check that out. I will leave that linked too. Now we'll pull out the second screw. And really cool. Appreciate that Northeast goes ahead and adds a little bit of Loctite glue on those. That is a huge plus to see from a company out of the box. We're going to go ahead and take this guy apart. It is just a clamshell design, so one side should pop open. You're going to see the other side pops out. And there is your hop-up rubber, your inner barrel, the hop arm, and the hop nub. On the left, we have the old hop-up unit, and on the right, we have the brand new one. And externally, they look almost identical. I don't see anything particularly different about the two. We're going to pop them open, and we'll see if there's anything different about the inside chambers. Internally, both chambers look to be remotely identical. I'm going to make the assumption that these are like millimeters in difference, which when it comes down to things like gas blowbacks, very small differences can make a huge difference when firing or under testing. But visually, I can't see anything that looks different. Again, new on the right, old on the left. I guess we're just going to retire the old for now. Put her aside. We'll pop our hop rubber off. We'll take a look at the new hop rubber they sent and the old hop rubber and see if there are any remote differences. It looks like they are also generally identical. I don't think there's any differences. I'm pretty sure these are just standard gas blowback. I don't know. I don't think there's any differences. We'll put the old one aside. And we'll start with the new one. We'll install it the way that it's supposed to be installed. Nice and snug fit as expected. And then we'll reinstall our entire hop-up unit. So this side, this little arm is going to go into the right side of the hop-up unit. And then we'll collapse this side here. And we're not going to go all the way yet because I actually have to get that arm in place too. So if we take this little loading arm, I'll take this off first. I'm going to pop the loading arm or the hop arm like that. And then we'll close the chamber. That should slot in place. And then we'll just go ahead and drop those screws back in. Keep in mind, I am no machinist. I am not going to sit here and try and measure this thing out in millimeters and tell you what's what and what changed and what's different. I don't know. But I'm assuming we're looking at like millimeters difference here. And we'll close that guy down. Cool. And then I'll just hand tighten those a little bit. And then this one. Nice and snug. Make sure we don't strip it. And remember, when you do put this piece back on, all we're going to do is close it in like this. And then we just have to pry this arm up to sit on top of this slot here. So I'll just grab something to pry that arm up with. After you can get under it, maybe just press down. Yeah, we'll just press down. It's probably easiest. Oh, look at that. I got it. Remember, you want it to sit on top of this big groove here, and that's how it increases hop up. As it starts to twist and increase hop up, it pushes the arm downwards, and then it starts to release tension just a little bit. Cool. I also think it'd be cool if that hop up nub wasn't just like rubbery. I wish it was a little bit more firm, so I might go and pick up a more firm hop up nub. I wonder if that'll help a lot. We'll just reassemble it, and then the next thing you know, we're going to go at the nozzle, which I actually haven't taken apart before, so I'm interested to see how that fares. And I like to just go ahead and make sure this is all the way slotted in place, and then we'll go ahead and do a little hand tighten. Just like that. Now we'll start to take apart the nozzle. We're going to pull the back off, press the button on the back of the stock, drop it off. We're just going to twist this guy outwards, and I'll pull out the little back end, the spring. Now the bolt, if we pull back to here, we should be able to wiggle the charging handle out, and the bolt should come out as we pull the trigger. You might have to like guide it out the rest of the way. There it is. Cool. And there goes your bolt. Now let's take a look at this C. Now it does look like there's two screws at the base here, and I assume those hold in the blocks on the side. So I think what we're going to do is pop those two out. I'll just grab a flathead, and then we'll go at those screws. That should release little stabilizers on the side of the nozzle. I don't know how we're going to get to the spring. I think there's a pin in the back we're going to have to remove. Those are some long screws with some flat ends. I don't know if you saw that. I'll show you on this one. Look at those suckers. I believe that should allow those ends to pop forward. No? Maybe those just... Not 100% sure. Okay, just tugged in the nozzle pretty hard. And those two like stabilizers popped out. I'll put those aside. And now I'm going to assume reverse engineering wise, if you look at the new nozzle compared to the old nozzle, looks like there's a loop for the spring. I'm assuming this goes through that. So I'm going to grab a pin and punch. We'll punch that out. So we'll do like a light little punch out here. And we'll see if it starts to pop out the end. Oh, it does. Okay. And it looks like it's a grooved pin. So you're going to want to punch it out from what looks to be, if the bolt sits like this, I guess bottom to top, like that. So that little groove there. I'll put that aside. And I think, if I'm correct, the nozzle should just fly out. Yep. And the pin does in fact go through that spring there. So let's take a look at the old nozzle and compare it to the new nozzle. Very interesting. Okay, so the new nozzle, or the old nozzle for one, is a little bit chewed up here. So ignore that. But if you look at the end, again, new is on the bottom, old's on the top. You can see the nozzle end is very rounded here. The nozzle end of the base is cut, as well as the loading tip is much longer, and so is the loading arm. Other than that, I don't see any other changes. Maybe this gas router's ramp is a little bit less tilted upwards, but I'm not 100% sure. Very interesting. Okay, that's another thing to note. On the rear side, and I'm not sure why, there is a pin space here, like a divot. There's none back here. And I wonder if that helps to gain a little bit more air pressure behind the nozzle inside of the housing, but I don't know. I don't know. So we're going to retire the old one. And if you could see, actually, we'll just pull over the new hop-up unit. So if you were to insert this in here, it kind of just doesn't even, like, get stuck. I wonder if this one will get stuck at all. Yeah, it does. There's a little bit of tension there. So we got a little bit better of an air seal. Okay, so I'm throwing on a little bit of flash. I don't know if you could see on the inside of there. There's actually a groove, like a slit, for the spring to go into. So we have to feel the spring like notch into place. See how it like sits kind of weird? You don't want to like squish it. It should fall into place. There it was. I don't know if you heard that, but it went right in. And you could see the spring kind of peeking through the hole. What I'm going to do is get like a really thin pin. I guess we'll try and use this, see if it goes all the way through, and see if I can't straighten out that spring a little bit. And then, like I said, we're going from the base up. So we'll punch that pin now. If I just hold the nozzle in place, back through this side. And since it's already pushing through the hole a little bit, we're under spring tension. That's how we know we're in the right place. I don't want to deform this at all, but it should drop in nice and smooth. And are we coming through the other side? We are coming through the other side, which is great. I'll continue to punch that into place. Rock solid and under spring tension. Now, if you remember, we have to get those two little nozzle stops back in place, and those are going to sit like this. We should be able to just drop those down. And then like this. I'll drop that down as well. It may take a little bit of just kind of moving the nozzle and those pieces around to get them to sit all the way down where they're supposed to. And then we could just go ahead and screw each one of those in place. And then I'll go ahead and reassemble this entire thing because it's really just like reverse engineering at this point. Nozzle's locked in. Drop it back in on the left side. Pull the trigger until the hole is peeking through this corner. I'm going to drop the pin in. Pull the trigger and push it all the way forward. If I can get it to go. There we go. Spring. Back plate around the spring. Twist it to the right after it gets in the slots. Make sure this groove goes into this groove. Press it down with the hole, and you want the hole to drop through the hole of the stock. And then we should be good to go tester now. The entire fire test today will be performed with Coleman propane, a Jaeger precision adapter, and 0.3 gram BBs, as well as a patch that you should probably pick up if you like the channel. So here's the thing. During our last testing, we tested the gas efficiency by seeing how many full mags of BBs we can get out of a single gas fill. And we got 3 mags and like a shot or 2 off, and those were super weak. The 3 mags was just fine, so I want to see now how many mags we can get out of a single gas fill with the new nozzle in 3, 2, 1. Still shoots just as expected. Again, I think these hold 33 or 34 BBs each. Kicked just fine through the entire thing. Pull the mag out, let's test it again. BB fill 2, gas fill 1. Here we go. Such a long trigger pull, it's so hard to get used to. That's it. All out of BBs. Cleared the mag. Let's do it again. I'm getting a little low on BBs. I might have to go refill the speed loader. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. We stopped. That is 3 mags. Let's run it one more time, see how it goes. Mag number 4 going in. Had to refill it with the .3s. And again, remember, it is a little bit warmer, I think, today than it was the other day we tested this. So that's something that we're going to have to take into consideration. I don't know how much warmer it is, but it is a little warmer. We're getting a little bit later in the spring. Here we go. No way. Just clear a 4th? It is only 34 BBs, but guess we'll go for a 5th. That is a lot of gas in one mag, I think. 5th mag. We're getting chuggy now. That was it. Did we finish it? I don't know if that finished it or not. No, there's still some BBs. So we got through 4 full mags and like a couple shots there. So definitely better than before. Right now we're standing at exactly 70 feet from that body size target, the purple one all the way down there. And during our previous video, we had to move into 50 feet because at 70 feet it was remotely impossible to hit the target with less than or more than 1 or 2 shots. So we're going to see if we can contact more than that this time. Low, upright, contact, to the right, over high, up left, up right, up, left, up left, contact, 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 and contact, bottom, contact, 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 right, and we're out. So with the accuracy, it's still kind of meh. I do notice though that with the power output, for some reason as we start to get a little bit lower on the mag, like later in the mag, accuracy gets a little bit better. Then when it's brand new, freshly filled mag, accuracy is a little worse. And I'll explain the reason for that at the end of the video. So I got the chronograph out, and if you remember correctly in the previous video, we had some difficulties where not only was the consistency in FPS all over the place, but every 5 shots or so, it would drop significantly, and then we'd be back at our standard power level, and we couldn't figure that out. So we are preset for the 0.3 gram BBs, and we'll go 10 shots, and I'm just going to call it as I see it. So here we go. That read the gas. Ignore that shot. Okay, so we got 300 FPS at 1.26 joules. That's 312 FPS at 1.36 joules. 328 FPS at 1.51 joules. 335 FPS at 1.57 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 joules. 320 FPS at 1.43 joules. 318 FPS at 1.41 joules. We'll go one more. And that's 325 FPS at 1.48 joules. So if we go ahead and pop this into our history here, you can see we're not getting that random depression number that we were getting previously. So it's more consistent, but not by a lot. I mean, we're swinging 15 to 20 FPS all over the place after we start to level out at the 3rd shot. It could be better, but again, reason for that. You see, the Northeast STEN is designed off of a unique system, and inside of the mag, it's designed to keep liquid propane and gas propane separate from each other a little bit better than your standard mags. Usually load mags, right, and the liquid propane stays at the base, and it builds up pressure into gas pressure and releasing it out the valve. So with regular replicas, if you tilt them to the side, you get a lot of liquid spillover and a lot of those fumes popping out of the replica every single time you fire. It's better to hold it upright. The STEN is stuck holding itself in this position. There's a small device on the inside of the Northeast STEN that separates the reservoir from the router that helps keep liquid propane out a little bit better. Is it perfect? No. Without it, would it fail constantly? Absolutely. But due to that, at higher pressures or higher fills, you start to see less efficiency and less accuracy. And then when the liquid propane starts to dissipate, the small little insert, I believe, starts doing a better job at keeping the liquid propane and the gas propane separated, therefore increasing accuracy a little bit and increasing consistency a little bit between shots. That spillover also has the tendency to mess around with the gas rubber, or the rubber, and then when that gets filled up, it gets a little bit greasy, a little oily, and you start to see inconsistencies as well as that inside of the barrel. So just something to keep in mind. Do I think that these upgrades were good? Yes. I do think they did enough, at least efficiency-wise, to make a little bit of a difference. And consistency-wise, we saw less deviations and less, like, total inconsistencies. It's not consistent by any means. If you're getting a STEN looking for MTW or HPA consistency, you're in the wrong place. But if you're looking for a World War II replica that works, I think the STEN is wonderful. I think Northeast is doing a wonderful job upgrading it, and I really appreciate the fact that they're a company that is sending those consistent upgrades that they're working on to people who already own them, instead of seeing people who already purchased them, only making those changes to newer ones, and then just, telling the poor saps that bought the early releases to kick rock. So thank you, Northeast, for sending it out. I appreciate you upgrading my STEN. I think it's a little bit better now. It's no sniper that's been worked on, but it's a STEN that works. I'll catch you guys in the next adventure. Peace.